Why does my hair actually only look the best when it's so greasy? When it's so oily and dirty? Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time to my channel, hi, my name is Sarah, and today we're talking about being eco-friendly during this holiday season. Now, obviously the most obvious way to be eco-friendly at like the very most that you can this holiday season is by just not buying gifts at all for people, but we all kind of know that that's not super realistic, especially when it comes to the holidays. A lot of people don't celebrate Christmas, and like that's completely okay, but a lot of people do, and with Christmas comes buying people gifts either that they do need, they really don't need, or just kind of in the middle, so it's something that makes you think about them. And a lot of times along with that comes a lot of waste. Whether that means the packaging that the actual product comes in, or if that means the packaging that you guys actually wrap with it. So I want to show you a few eco-friendly ways to kind of go about this holiday season. First thing is wrapping paper. This comes in a variety of different finishes. Did you guys know that 4 million pounds of this actually gets used annually just in this specific time of year? That is 227,000 miles worth of wrapping paper every single year at this specific time of year, purely just thrown away. That's enough to circle the world 9 times. 9 times. We have a very big world. Also, a little fact about this is if your wrapping paper is shiny or laminated or dyed in any way or covered in gold or silver, little plastic flecks or anything along those lines, it is no longer recyclable. And if you put that non-recyclable paper in with recyclable paper, that can actually dramatically mess up how much of that paper is recyclable now. And that can mean that all of that paper as a whole in that box, if you do put in a box, is now potentially non-recyclable at all. And that's insane. So obviously not all of us live in the exact same place in the exact same part of the world, so definitely check out the bylaws within your area for recycling and for putting out compost or garbage. But I'm going to be sharing with you what works in my part of the world, which is going to be Canada, BC, Vancouver. If you are taking any tips and tricks from this video, then definitely check out the bylaws in your area, make sure they are still applicable, because obviously other places could have different bylaws, and what's recyclable in my area could maybe not be recyclable in yours, so kind of defeats the purpose. My first little something for this video is going to be towards actually gift giving, like the gift of a gift. Now obviously to reduce your impact on the environment, be more eco-friendly, you can give things such as time, like maybe spend time with your loved ones, not that you're not already. Okay, is spending time with your loved ones more so than just giving gifts, maybe making them a dinner, maybe taking them even to a concert, because a lot of the time buying tickets for concerts and stuff can be a zero waste gift. Instead of getting the paper ticket, you can actually get an electronic ticket. You can give out those little to-do books that it's like a number of things that I am willing to do for you, so it's like every single time they give you a ticket, you do that. Because tickets are generally made of paper, and paper is recyclable so long as you kind of make it handmade and not buy the shiny shit from the store. Give the gift of replenishment, and by this I mean obviously shopping ethically is a really good idea, but going to places like Lush where they have the naked bars and shower gels, etc., so you don't have to constantly keep replenishing it by buying stuff with containers. Or if it does have a container, you can refill the container or you can bring it back to Lush, which is a really cool thing that Lush actually does, is they take back a lot of their containers and they either give you a free product or they just take it back in general. Again, check the bylaws of the area that you are in, but I really like naked products, and by naked products again I mean packaging free products. If you guys know anything about me on my channel, I buy a lot of Lush, and a lot of the time it's going to be their naked products. You can also give the gift of memberships. If somebody is more into like the physical lifestyle, you could definitely give them maybe like a membership to a gym, or maybe even like movie tickets that are again on your mobile phone, anything like that. Give them the gift of experiences. If you have maybe a younger sibling or even maybe a mother and father that you want to show them how to do something, give them the gift of time spent, once again, but in the way of teaching them a skill or teaching them a craft. You can also upcycle quite a bit. Stuff that you already have in your home, so maybe instead of getting a brand new couch, you can just refurbish the old one, or you can upcycle toys to make them more valuable, like physically appearance wise, to someone else. You can definitely buy it secondhand, whether it be at a thrift store, on eBay, because people tend to sell old stuff on eBay, although Amazon is getting to be a far bigger market now. You can make things, and by make things, you can either make them from scratch, i.e. like cards and stuff like that that are going to be more meaningful, or you can also make food. Obviously making food is going to be a edible thing, and along with edible things, I mean everything's technically edible. Some things are only edible once. Both making edible little treats, you give them the gift of something that you thought of, something you spent time doing, and something that they can eat. And with eating becomes biodegradable stuff. You can also do things such as buying ethically. So buying from Etsy rather than like Amazon, like sustainable living, like using products that can, again, be biodegradable. You can get things that are going to be organic, which of course, if it comes from the earth, it can go back in the earth. Now, getting into the actual act of giving the gift, and that's going to be with wrapping paper. Now, a lot of the time people do use a lot of wrapping paper that either comes from the dollar store, comes from Walmart, or insert whatever store here, and of course that is definitely a cute option to do and maybe like a little bit easier of an option. Another option you can do is use crafting paper, whether that be crafting paper that you can get from the craft store, which generally comes in a long tube that's going to be wrapped up as if normal wrapping paper, but it's going to be craft paper. You can usually tell what this is by the color. It's usually a very dark brown, maybe a light brown, or you can go that extra mile, and a lot of stores during any time of the year usually have filling paper. And basically what that is when companies or distributors send them product, they're going to either pack them with the bubble poppy stuff, which everybody likes to, or they can pack them with this kind of paper, which is what I've done. This is obviously going to be completely just paper, so it's going to be recyclable. You can also definitely upcycle this quite a bit by adding your own little flair on it. And that's how I've chosen a little bit to do this, and that's going to be with potato stamps. Now, potatoes obviously come from the earth, so again, they can go back into the earth. And with that being said, all you have to do for this is take a potato, and with one potato, you can generally get about 2 to 3 stamps out of it. I would recommend probably 2 because it's a lot easier to hold onto. And you would cut them in half depending on what the shape of the stamp that you want to create is. I cut mine in half hot dog style rather than hamburger style. And then once you've got that, map out the general shape. I use a very small knife for this, and very carefully map out the general shape that you want, and then add in a little bit more detail. And then what you're going to do is cut about an inch into it, and by that point it should be pretty easy to just it out, like just pop out the potato that you aren't using. And then you got your shape down. Once you had that down, just put it off to the side and let it dry a little bit. I'm obviously going to be putting the compostable parts in the compost. Besides that, I'm going to be putting it over paper towel. You guys can totally use a towel if you'd like, but this is just going to dry it out because if you're using water activated paints, then they're going to activate with water, and potatoes have a lot of natural water in them. They'll act more like a activator and less like a stamp. And past that, you can kind of determine what kind of paint you want to use. For example, a lot of people at this point would probably use acrylic paint, which seems like a very easy option, especially because you can find it at the dollar store. But if you want to go even one step further with it, you can use water activated paint, or just like watercolors in general. Because unfortunately, acrylic paint is going to be plastic based, so obviously it's going to take a little bit longer, if at all, to biodegrade. And again, we're trying to be as eco-friendly as possible, so I used watercolor for mine, because if you add enough water to it, it does come out a pretty opaque color, and you can kind of dab it in a couple of more times, dab. But I took 2 potatoes and made 4 different stamps. And I thought they were actually really cute. You can obviously customize this towards the person you're giving it to, or you can also just go crazy with it. A little pro tip from what I learned along doing this is if you do want a fully opaque stamp down, then you definitely want to push every single portion of the potato down as far as you can. It kind of gets a little bit up depending on how you cut it. I found actually that I kind of like the look of this about halfway through doing all of these, but you definitely can fill them in with a paintbrush easily enough. You just need the general shape down to get it to where you need to go. To get to where you need to go, you gotta do something you've never done. As I stated, I actually like the look of it when it's kind of only half stamped down. I find it more of a homemade look, obviously, and I think that's a little bit cuter. And once you're done, those potatoes can go right in the compost. Past that, for continuous wrapping, you can also use newspaper, because although it is dyed, it is still recyclable. And if you're going to use newspaper, I do recommend maybe using like 2 or 3 sheets instead of 1, so it is a little bit thicker, a little bit more sturdier, and maybe tie it up with a little bit of twine garland, because this is obviously made of twine, therefore again, it is compostable. You can also use any cardboard boxes. If anybody knows me in real life, or actually on this channel as well, you probably know that I order a lot of stuff. I get a lot of stuff online. I save the boxes. Drives my mother absolutely insane. Drives everybody in my life absolutely insane, but I keep all of the boxes where that is full of the products that I buy because they are cardboard, and cardboard is a paper. It's a thicker paper, but it's a paper. So instead of buying boxes or even reusing some from the dollar store, because those, you're still buying it and it still has the plastic over top of it, so unless you use them and use them and use them every single year, which a lot of people do. My mom does that. My mom has done that for as long as I can remember. My dad has as well. You can reuse actual cardboard boxes. Generally, I would recommend taking the sticker off of it because, of course, the sticker is going to be laminated, so it's not super recyclable. But I use any sort of boxes that are really easy to put back together. Another thing you can use, it's something that people don't actually really think about, and that's going to be a different kind of tape. Most people tend to use either double-sided tape or just regular tape, and both of those are made out of plastic, some kind of plastic. Another little tip for you guys is to use washi tape. Now, a lot of people don't think about this. It usually comes in a little bit crazy of colors a lot of the time. It's like cool little designs and stuff. You can't get this from the dollar store, but generally they are made from bamboo, or they do have a plant base to them. It is biodegradable. It may take a little bit longer than maybe cardboard, but it is biodegradable. And I think it actually adds a cute little flair. If you are wanting to add decorations to this, simply tie twine around them over and over and over again until they are secured into place. That is it. You definitely can add a little dollop of hot glue or super glue to this, but this one makes it more eco-friendly and it's just generally a little bit easier. I even added a bit of washi tape to a lot of my presents just to show who it's from, so almost use it as a, what is that word? Like a note? Use it as like a ticket to show who it's from, or to. Another option is, if you do want it to be a little bit cuter, maybe you just don't have the time in your life to go out and get craft paper and then make it customizable. You can also go onto a site called Rapidly, which they take recycled paper and actually make cute designs on it. I'll link it in the down bar below if you guys want to check it out, but it's completely recyclable, completely biodegradable, and is cute. She cute. Something else you can add to your gifting to make every gift a little bit cuter is twine. Now, there are different kinds of twine. There's going to be regular twine, wire twine, although I don't recommend that because obviously it has the metal going through it, jute twine, and there's hemp twine. Now, twine is derived from plants. Hemp twine is derived from hemp. You can also give gifts in reusable bags, and you can buy the reusable bags from the store. You can also buy them from Lush, which are going to be not only reusable but also fabric, so they're a little bit easier to wash than the ones that are like almost plasticky, which kind of doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to sell a reusable bag, maybe like don't make it plastic because eventually it will go into the landfill. Getting less plastic is doing more for the environment. Also, guys, take a walk outside if you want something else to decorate your presents with. If it came from the earth, most chances are it's going to go back into the earth eventually. You can use things such as pine cones to decorate, maybe even spices, like not like the spices that you'd use on food, but maybe like rosemary, because rosemary is kind of a cute little plant that you can maybe decorate, and if you do kind of tie them together with twine, you get a little wreath. Dried berries, you can use an orange if you cut it up into very small thin slices. You can put it into the oven and put it on 250 and just keep flipping and flipping and flipping it, and then eventually it will be dried out. You can use that as well as an alternative. Take a trip to your local grocery store and get some cinnamon sticks because they smell really nice and they pair pretty well with orange. But the last option is going to be knot wraps. Now, you can get these from anywhere. Technically, they're not even considered knot wraps if you can get them from a thrift store. You can use a thicker kind of headband, like the ones that like, they're in squares. But knot wraps, I got mine from Lush. You can get yours from anywhere. Like I said, you can even thrift them usually. And the knot wraps are really easy to deal with. You can put a present in them and kind of like roll it up and then tie it with twine. Or you can wrap it in itself by putting maybe a box or whatever gift in the middle of it. Take two of the corners, tie those in a knot, take the other two corners, tie those in a knot above it, and you've got yourself a knot wrap, which is why it's called knot wrap. You're knotting them together. If you do just want to use bows, or you already have bows and you want to reuse them, a little fun hack is to just reuse them. Literally just reuse them. Put a little piece of washi tape on the back and just reuse them and reuse them and reuse them. You don't have to throw them out every single time they're not sticky, because then it's just a waste, and why not reuse them? You can just take the tape off at the end, and again, washi tape is recyclable. It's biodegradable. But that is it for today's video, and I do hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you in my next one. Merry Christmas, guys. Bye.